denied. You may have hit rock bottom. You may have been craving for the lights. Now, all strive for one goal.
Numbers, he's gonna be taking that life on the Akaya of whether he comes to jump on the Emerald.
Put your hands together for the champion.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion worthy of the highest glory?
Yes, dan kembali lagi masih di World Cup dari Mobile Legends Bang Bang 2019 masih bersama gue Vela Javed. Tapi kali ini kenapa Ranger emasnya udah di plus size ya?
Ini gara-gara gue kelebihan farming.
Oh gitu ya.
Ya, tapi nama gue juga sedikit berubah, ada Ed Franz Volva-nya.
Oh, jadi as Franz Volva ya, gara-gara udah kelebihan farming.
Iya, kelebihan farming banget sih ini. Jadi ya kayak tadi lah, tuturuk kelebihan farming sakit banget. Udah gitu permainannya sangat-sangat spektakuler. Beberapa kali dijepit tapi bisa kabur. Dan Liam itu sih gila, kunci kesuksesan itu dan Liam. Bener-bener deh.
Liam dan Finn sih bener-bener sadis sih.
Betul
kalau menurut
banget.
gue sih.
Walaupun kalau menurut aku pribadi,
Iya.
Sin mungkin agak sedikit nafsuan, mungkin agak tilted
Iya.
karena telah melewati game yang sangat panjang.
Betul.
Dia dari match pertama dengan match kedua, belum
Lanjut
lagi
soalnya ya.
yes, langsung kan 2 in a row match, dan abis itu game ketiganya sengit banget, jadi kayak agak tilted. Lumayan menyebalkan ketika ngeliat dia mencoba shadow kill sendirian gitu, apalagi tadi kalau nggak salah Esmeralda mau di one by one-in tapi ada minion, jadi sempat shadow kill-nya terbagi sedikit.
Betul banget, tapi gak apa-apa, itu sudah berlalu dan RRQ sudah secure 5-1 kali ini. Tapi ntar malam juga masih ada RRQ.
Oh iya, betul banget di game terakhirnya ya.
Benar banget, tapi teman-teman yang ada di live set kita di sini tadi cukup rame banget ya, yang emang nongkrong di sini. Tapi gue mau lihat ini dulu, bentar.
Apa tuh?
Nyari contekan dulu. Habis ini siapa aja yang main?
Oh iya juga. Kalau gitu langsung aja lihat di.
Oh, kita bakal melihat di sini EVOS SG, EVOS Singapura melawan Impunity di sini. Dan
Impunity dong.
iya.
Aduh.
Dan
Kalau
ini
kata,
tapi bukan Impunity SG ya.
kalau dulu kan Impunity SG.
Iya.
Tapi kalau kata Om Wawa,
Apa nih?
aku tadi semalam sempat ngobrol-ngobrol.
Oke.
Kalau menurut Om Wawa, Impunity itu lumayan keras.
Kenapa begitu?
Karena Impunity.
Oh gitu.
Dia bilang gitu. Saya juga nggak ngerti. Saya waktu itu sih agak marah waktu ngomong sama dia.
Tapi emang Papa Wawa pengen di
Iya.
karena nggak ada alasannya
Iya,
tuh.
memang.
Kalau ada alasan sih nggak masalah. Tapi tadi di awal ya Bang Volva ya, ini EVOS SC bener-bener dibantai loh sama RRQ.
Mungkin kaget ya karena melihat FSSG kayaknya cukup strong juga waktu saat MPL, tapi ini M1, ini berbeda, ini kayak udah next levelnya, jadi kayak nggak bisa meremehkan lagi, ini bukan kancah saya lagi. Biasanya kan MPL MSC kan.
Betul.
Ini MPL M1.
Iya.
Mungkin tahun depan M2.
Amin.
Ya kan?
Mudah-mudahan di Indo, amin.
Nggak
Gue makin berdoa lagi.
Nggak ada yang tahu, tapi
Benar.
Tapi ini benar-benar keren banget sih. Dan FSSG kayaknya mungkin belum siap untuk melawan RRQ pada saat di game pertama tadi.
Betul, tapi di sini mungkin dia udah mempersiapkan, kita nggak boleh main kayak tadi lawan RRQ. Kita harus siap siaga dengan segala kemungkinan yang ada gitu loh.
Betul banget, dan ini Impunity adalah match pertamanya dia, betul kan ya?
Benar,
Yes.
jadi kayak masih kondisi prima, belum ada mental breakdown, karena tadi EVOS SG juga udah ada sedikit mental breakdown. Nggak mungkin nggak ada sih.
Tapi ada plus minusnya.
Ada plus minusnya kenapa?
Itu untuk SG-nya, untuk EVOS SG, bisa jadi dia udah panas duluan.
Oh.
Kayak mesin diesel.
Gitu ya?
Di awal nggak terlalu panas, abis itu game selanjutnya panas banget.
Gitu ya?
Nah, kalau
Bisa
Impunity
jadi.
ini kan masih cooldown banget.
Benar.
Jadi belum kena apa-apa, jadi kayak masih belum merasakan sensasi M1.
Jadi gitu ya, ada plus ada minusnya.
Ada minusnya, takutnya
Bener.
nanti karena dia udah kelamaan nunggu, dia nggak mempersiapkan sesuatu untuk melawan EVOS SG, kaget.
Bener.
Sama yang terjadi sama EVOS SG ketika melawan RRQ.
Benar banget. Atau nggak mungkin kayak, kok mereka mainnya gitu ya? Apa kita siapin strategi baru gara-gara abis ngeliat pertandingan-pertandingan sebelumnya?
Betul banget, tapi nggak ada PR yang bisa dikerjain dalam waktu 2 jam.
Oke.
Susah.
Susah.
Karena ini M1, Pak.
Bener sih, bener sih.
Tapi kalau melihat grup A, kalau aku ngomongin grup A ya.
Oke, kalau ngomongin
emang
grup A.
grup A ini yang paling neraka di M1.
Paling neraka di M1.
Paling neraka. Kalau menurut aku pribadi, aku nih suka banget dari MPL season 3.
Betul.
Ngelihat pemain-pemain yang sebenarnya kalau kata orang-orang underrated. Nggak pernah kelihatan.
Nggak pernah kelihatan.
Yes, tapi sebenarnya aku ngerasa ini adalah tim-tim yang akan kuat sebagai underdog.
Oke, seperti?
Vietnam.
Oke.
Semua yang dari Vietnam menurut aku sangat-sangat brutal.
Sangat-sangat brutal seperti tadi yang kita lihat juga ya.
Yes, betul banget. Dan nggak ada kemungkinan bahwa dia bisa aja lolos ke main event.
Benar sekali. Tapi ini perwakilan dari Kamboja ya, kalau nggak salah Impunity ya.
Yes, betul banget. Ini dari Kamboja. Tapi masalahnya bisa nggak dia mencuri poin atas FSG karena FSG
Adalah pemenang ya, champion dari MPL
Betul.
MYSG juga gitu
walaupun
kan.
comeback ya katanya.
3-2 itu game bener-bener BO5 beneran gitu.
5-5-nya dipakai.
Oh, 5-5 dipakai, bener-bener.
Aduh, itu benar-benar tegang loh. Tapi
Betul.
mereka adalah menjadi juara di MPL MOSG. Tapi permasalahannya ini udah beda level. Semuanya bisa bertarung di sini. Dan memang kalau kita mengingat, sorry to say, Kamboja MSC tahun ini tidak terlalu baik.
Betul.
Tapi bukan berarti di M1 nggak lebih baik.
Karena semua orang pasti mau improve.
Ya, semua orang bisa belajar di YouTube Gaming.
Betul. Bener
Gila.
banget.
YouTube Gaming itu udah pasarnya banyak banget, videonya banyak banget. Apalagi nanti kalau YouTube Gamingnya Mobile Legends Indonesia sudah berkembang.
Betul banget, kayak YouTube-nya Mobile Legends Indonesia yang sekarang ini nih, yang lagi ditonton sama teman-teman sekalian. Jadi jangan lupa untuk like, share, dan juga subscribe
Betul
juga.
banget.
Karena ini kita nggak cuma hari ini ya, Bang Volva ya. Kita sampai hari Minggu, hari terakhir dari M1, dari grup stage. Hari pertama di grup A, hari kedua di grup B, hari ketiga di grup C, dan grup D. Di hari keempat lalu berlangsung ke arah playoff-nya.
Dan ini aku pengen banget umumin buat teman-teman yang lagi di rumah.
Apa nih?
Yang di rumah di sekolah kalau misalnya bingung, di mana sih bang nontonnya? Dikasih tahu aja teman-teman sekelasnya, teman-teman satu sekolahnya, satu kampus, satu jalanan, satu gang, satu kompleks dikasih tahu bahwa kita di YouTube Gamingnya Mobile Legends Indonesia.
Betul banget.
Eksklusif ya.
Eksklusif.
Jadi kalau bukan di situ, mungkin kalian nyasar ke yang bahasa Thailand.
Sawadika, berarti sama Fandina kak.
Tolong, saya salah nih, aduh.
Ya tapi kita thank you juga dong sama Muntor untuk nge-present kali ini kita
Yes.
udah gak cuma di Southeast Asia.
Betul banget.
Kita mau di
That's why they really want to prioritize this. And if you look at their bans, they have actually set up for a good Harith game. Like they banned out the Kufra and they banned out the Kaja. This really helps them to get this Harith underway. But that being said, EVOS SG might secure their Esmeralda so that they will at least have an answer to this Harith.
The Esmeralda is open, the Chango is open as well, but
Masha.
they will go for the instant split push with the Masha right now. Having the wild power in your arsenal, you can immediately get out of the fray and just go for the pressure play. But meanwhile, Impunity KH securing their late game with the carry and the times. Lots of sustain and true damage here coming in from Impunity KH.
That's off true damage. Like I said, sustain is there because of the Thams.
Yes?
Carry is... I would say that there is a 50-50 chance that he will be answered by the Hylas. it's cutting it close, right? Because Hylos really excels in those melee battles. Like he excels against melee heroes. Carry is not that long ranged. He's actually mid range.
Yes.
And so Carry might have a little bit of problem facing the Hylos. But if his positioning is correct, if his positioning is good, he will make it against the Hylos.
Speaking of long range, one of the heroes who is very good at these long range fights is the Valier. So they do have this Valier poke coming in their team. Plus, you can initiate with the Glorious Pathway and the Masha just to cover up all of these Valier skill shots that you have.
That could be their frontliner, that could be their zoner.
Yeah.
I like what you pointed out earlier, by the way. You mentioned Chang'o that can be
Chang'o,
picked
yes.
here by
Your
Evo's
team
SG,
is banning.
which can easily be paired up with the Hylos and the Masha. What you do is that you just have two frontliners for you and have the Chang'o just rain hell from behind.
Yeah, rain hill from that meteor shower.
There you go, the Lolita
There you
band.
go.
So this could be a Chang'o.
This could be a Chang'o or probably a Granger, which is a good combination with the Masha and of course the Hylos. I do like the Claude ban here for the side of Impunity KH as it complements
Yes, it does. The Thams is your answer if you're Impunity KH to kind of match or mirror at least the movements coming out from the Masha. But of course, you know that the Masha will have a better time in terms of split pushing because not only can Masha clear out the minion waves fast,
Yes.
it can also go to the jungle and take down turrets very, very quickly.
very quickly. And there
As
you go.
expected, there's the Chang'o.
There you go. Bring in the stars. Chang'o with the peace sign, ladies and gentlemen, for the side of Evo's SG. But
Wow.
they will immediately answer with the Baksha pick right here.
Wow, this is amazing because one thing that we have not talked about yet is when the meta favored like the Masha as well as the Chang'o,
Yeah.
a hero has risen from the ashes. That's Baksha.
Yep.
We don't know how much harass potential Baksha can dish out, and it will be your hero that can jump and close
Your
the gap
team
against
is
these heroes.
picking.
He can harass properly the Masha.
Yeah.
He can harass properly the Chang'o as well.
Plus, you can rotate immediately because of your first skill,
Yeah.
and of course, clear out jungle waves because of the reset of your second skill. So, looking at this draft for the side of Impunity KH, they do have a lot of sustainability in their lineup. Of course, with the heals coming in from the Rafaela, the extra movement speed boost
Yeah.
from that blessing, plus the rolling shield from the Baksha can answer to the immediate disengage of the Masha and the Hylos.
Now, in the absence of the Lolita pick here, that
Oh.
could be available for Impunity KH, they go for the Basha. The idea is it's actually a Lolita that can move faster.
Yeah.
Because you can just put up your shield, just tank through all the meteor shower and try to defeat your opponents. Bruno, however, is the last pick here for Evo's SG.
I like it. They will depend on the crits of this Bruno, but again, this is a ticking time bomb for the side of Evo's SG as Bruno is their late game insurance. One revitalize coming in for Mr. Paragon to again tank up all of the damage. Who do you think has the better draft?
Wow, that is a very hard question actually. This time though, I would favor the lineup. Here's the thing, right? There's a difference between a lineup and a draft.
Yeah.
If you talk about the draft, it's the order of picks that will lead to your lineup.
Your lineup,
right?
yeah.
That's why if you ask me what's the better draft, I would dare say that it could be even the lineup of Impunity KH.
Yeah.
Because of how they banned their opponent against their opponents and how they picked the Basha last pick Rafaela, I like it.
And that was an immediate Basha pick
Exactly.
after the Chango. They were
know.
expecting
They know.
the Chango
Exactly.
from side of Evo's SG. So I do feel that they have the upper hand. If I'm not mistaken, this is probably the debut
Basha at least
Basha
here.
at least here in the
And,
group stages. Yes.
yeah.
All right. It's the newest hero to come out right now,
It
especially
is.
the
It
Basha.
is.
Yeah.
Well, it's the second the second newest
Second
one
newest
because
one.
Ling. However, Ling is not available in competitive play just yet
Yeah.
because just so released. But Basha made it to the deadline. He's now available to for M1 teams to actually go for
And it counters all of the unnecessary damage that the Chango has.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
of the passive with the shields. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the game number 1 of series number 3. Impunity KH will go to the blue side, and Evil's SG on the red side.
We did talk about the top players here. Watt is going to be there to take care of the Harith Zens on this carry. It's active on this Tams Paragon taking the back shot this time, and boom on this Rafaela.
Okay, so OD Bambi is using the Chango right now. Jiao PL on the silo. Soul as the Masha AC will be using the Valier, and Potato with the Bounty Hunter as the Bruno. So there is the request backup right there for Team Impunity KH as they will try to invade this blue shocker.
This Basha already rolling against their opponents, threatening this take of the invade. They will be successful in doing so. And this means that Impunity KH will have better control of the early game. They even take out some of the green camps in here now to pressure the Masha in the bottom side of the map.
Giving it to the Harriet, of course. They want that maximum power spike of the Harriet. They want to get it before the 2-minute mark, even giving him the River Crab right now. So what, ladies and gentlemen, is doing really fine here in the first 2 minutes of the game.
So they will also have access to another blue buff. So in the end, we'll have 3 blue buffs. By the way, we are taking note of the battle spells in here.
Yeah.
There's double revitalize on the side of Infinity KH. They really want to match the siege potential of Evo's SG this time.
Yeah.
There could be an invade, however, as already Odir Bambi is level 4, and we know that if the Meteor Shower is available for the Chango, we can clearly clear out the jungle camps very, very quickly.
But I think for the side of Immunity KH and Evo's SG, they need to move right now. Immunity KH has the level advantage here of the Harriet, so I think they can immediately power dive the bottom lane. But as I say this, that was an immediate tower destroyed by Evo's SG in the top lane, so the Bruno can now join the fights.
Well, actually, what they're doing right now is the turtle. And of course, the bomb from Paragon is going to prevent it from happening. That's going to be actually a lot of damage output potential from Impunity KH that Evo's SG will not want to dip their hands into.
With a sliver of health, Boom survived that potential death. Ladies and gentlemen, Soul is at level 4. Evo's SG controlling the mid game in the first turn. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Potato just farming up his items right now. What is very disciplined, not going for any tower dives yet.
Oh, actually went for the Pillager Axe this time. Wants to flash farm against his opponent.
Yes.
Paragon gonna be stunned up, but it gives Xiao, it gives the
LPL.
rest of Impunity KH. They do have the damage this time. Revitalize will not count it. That's Hylos down for the count.
And that is revitalized to save their health. But again, there is a burst coming in from Soul. Here comes AC firing up all the flames. And that is a Harriet down.
Wow.
1-1 is the score.
A very smart play coming out from Soul. He went for the time where the Impunity KH already burned through their ultimates, and they actually forced out the kill onto the Harriet. This time, look at this.
Look at this
Soul
replay.
comes in at the right moment to actually pick apart the Harriet when the Harriet doesn't have any more Zaman Force or any Grondo dashes left for himself.
And besides that, that was a nice stun coming in from the Valier to reflect Harriet's dash.
Yeah.
But as I say this, there's going to be another pickup here in the bottom lane. Soul will be the one to die.
Of course, and you have the initiation coming out from Paragon as well as the ultimate. We know that that's Basha. The name of the game for this hero is to pressure your opponents. Try to go for the sun. Look at this, a very smart play, however, from Jiao PL as he tanks through that roll coming out from the Basha.
So this is the power of the lineup of Impunity KH. They can immediately go in and out of fights, especially having their sustainability and lots of dashes. They can actually dive in AC right now if he is not careful.
Let's be careful. It's Meteor Shower. And look at the damage he's been dealing with. And of course, the Revitalize will be there to save their teammates.
This is the second turtle of the game. Is this a free turtle for Impunity KH? Zhao PL lurking behind. He will pop the second skill and the stun. He will go for boom. Turtle on the edge of health, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the glorious pathway. Zhao will get away, but the turtle will go to Impunity KH for an exchange of a turret.
Yeah, in exchange for a turret, they will take out the turtle. That means that EVOS SG still will get a lot of advantage in here.
Yep.
Now there is going to be the backstab from the Basha, but nice pushback
Nice
coming
pushback.
out from this Valier. And of course, the damage from the Bruno, it's actually threatening even the Basha at this point.
Team EVOS SG is buying time and creating space for Mr. Potato to get to his power spike. He is at 0-0 right now. But as I say this, there is another clash here in the bottom side as the Zaman Force will burst out the Valier. Here comes the meteor shower from Odir Bambi, but it will do nothing as Impunity KH will take control of that fight.
Impunity KH with a 1-for-1 trade-off, and I'm actually very happy about what happened because they actually freed up a little bit of space for Zenz, the marksman, to farm.
Yes.
There still is a lot of gold lead coming out from Team EVOS SG, but Impunity KH, they aren't that scared anymore. They know
Yes.
that they are trailing behind in terms of gold, but just a little bit. And it is enough actually to give them confidence heading towards the late game.
Confidence is the name of the game for Impunity KH because of Paragon's Baksha right now. Plus, they do have the TAMs to deal with the creep waves. But again, Team EVOS SG, they are not forcing any fights. They're just splitting up the map because of the smash pick. And of course, Odir Bambi using his meteor shower to probably put in pressure in the mid lane.
Look, the stun connects and in comes the taps. They have the damage and they will take down the Valier this time. From another side of the map, that's going to be a kill onto Zenz. And that's why EVOS SG, they're still happy about this trade.
Yeah,
a support for a core
A support for a core.
and a turret as well.
Plus Basha is Basha is now at level 9. Soul is doing pretty well right now. Team Impunity KH, they're forcing a team fight here in the bottom side. That is the meteor shower from behind. Nice flat from the Chango. But again, the Harriet and the Baksha just pretty strong here in the bottom side as the pressure is still on for the side of EVOS SG.
Basha is threatening for a kill this time, for a cleanup kill. But of course, there's a lot of power in here. Here comes the carry. They will take out the Harriet, however, with the damage coming out from the Chango. They actually tried to escape this time as Ace was able to flicker away. Zhao PL is very, very tanky, but from the backlines, they already isolated the carry. The carry goes down. And this means that EVOS SG will have control of this turtle. Clams and the Basha, can they defend this?
I think not, because here comes Zhao PL. That is a free turtle for EVOS SG. Plus, as we are now seeing the core items are now online.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That is the perfect usage of the Hylos.
Yes.
Just zone out your opponents. Never mind the kills. You
Never mind
don't
the
really
kills.
care about the kills at this point.
Yeah.
As long as your opponents, or as long as your teammates, are able to secure the objectives, like the turtle and the turret, you're pretty confident and happy with what you are doing, even if you, technically speaking, just soak up the damage.
Just use the glorious pathway to as a warning shot, as a warning sign for Team MQ, for their opponents right now. Paragon is trying his best to get all these stuns, to get all this burst. But as I say this, here comes another glorious pathway for Zhao PL, and that is the power of the Hylos pick right now. Immediately disengaging.
Whoa. Okay. Now up top, Soul pressure onto the top lane because of this Masha. Look at how quickly he is able to force his opponents to react. And actually, Active will have to use the Quadrant Inferno. That's the ultimate burned out by this Thames.
They do need the crowd control for the Masha right now. As I look at this, EVOS SG doing a little bit of magic trick as they are pulling off the misconception play.
Or misdirection play.
Yeah, the misdirection play. I mean, Impunity KH still, they do want to get picks. They do want to pull off a 5-on-5 because of this Rafaela. But man, EVOS SG still goes for the split push.
I think we want to go for the split push at this point because, you know, the Masha will have to look for openings and not for good initiations.
Yes.
Not like full 5v5 clashes. But
Yeah.
we're happy with some of the pickups. Look at this. Actually, he's being forced out. That is a mistake from Soul. But of course, a very nice punish from Impunity KH.
This is vintage Evo's SG. It is clear that with their games, they cannot end the game very quickly as they put the pressures on themselves in the mid game of the fight. Because I mean, this is still a carry here
Look
for
at
the
this.
side of Impunity KH.
Well, then again, they are able to take out a Chango. It's a big kill already for Infinity KH. They march forward. The glorious pathway signals the retreat for Evo's SG. The Bruno is in here to actually dish out some damage in there to threaten Impunity KH. But Impunity KH, they will not fight. Instead, they will head towards the Lord this time. They know that this is a 4 versus 5 fight that they might be able to win.
The best objective of the game. Here we go. There's the knockup, ladies and gentlemen. Baksha just rolling out, boxing in. Mr. Paragon, but that
Zaret.
is the last hit for Mr. Watt with a double T. Paragon tanking in. 4 heroes coming in from Evo's SG. He won't survive, but mission accomplished for Impunity KH. They will get that objective.
Mission accomplished indeed for Impunity KH. They might lose Paragon, but that is a support that they're happy to actually give away. And instead, they get the Lord. And this means that Impunity KH will have a little bit of control of the map for perhaps a minute or two. Where they can either farm or get some turrets for themselves. It's gonna be up to them how they make the most out of this Lord.
Let's see, because again, this is a Bruno with no deaths right now, going for the endless battle. I would dare say that the Bruno is stronger than the carry in terms of one-on-one in the late game. But again, Impunity KH is holding on together, grouping up themselves to in order for them to confuse Evo's SG on who to target.
Look at what Watt is doing, actually bumping himself against the wall so that his chrono dash is maximized, because you want to use your chrono dash and down first against the turret. A very nifty play that you saw with him. You think that it was a mistake, like chrono dashing against the wall, but it's actually a strategy.
It's a
from Watt.
strategy to reset, right?
Yeah, it just shortens your chrono dash so that you can attack ever so quickly. It's like you're always right click or attacking. With your chrono dash.
And of course, Team Impunity KH doesn't have any crowd control to deal with the glorious pathway and the wild power of the Maksha. Look at this, Maksha just going for the cut. Still, Evo's SG, they want to pull off this pressure strategy that they have.
Paragon actually marching forward. They had the taps as well. A very nice jump from both Infinity KH cores. This time though, Soul is able to run away with the last set of his HP. Jiao PL spots out Boom and says, no, we have to back down. We have to forfeit the tower up top and just defend for the second one.
Let's see right now. Team Evo's SG very patient in their lineup. They do want to pull off that miracle meteor shower play in order for them to pick off Zenz, who is doing pretty fine and pretty well in this carry.
It's interesting to see that we have a low kill score even when we already are at 12 minutes. And there's a lot of damage from both teams' drafts, from both teams' lineup. But then again, the people from both teams aren't really fighting that much. They are going for skirmishes. When someone already dies, they don't overcommit, they just back out. This actually explains to me how intense, how important this game is.
Yes, it is, of course, Team Evo's SG. They will immediately back off after the Zaman Force. But again, they don't have a good,
look at Basha.
burst.
They don't have burst. Like
They don't have a good burst.
Don't necessarily have the burst, and there's a lot of defense, however, from Impunity KH, courtesy of the Baksha, and you have the heal from the Rafaela. This time, though, Atep will not let this Masha get free reign, but look at this.
Man, this
He's
is
actually
Masha.
winning the battle this time. Masha, one of the best 1v1 fighters out there.
Of course, that thunderclap, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes another meteor shower from the
that hurts.
Django. Water's
That hurts.
falling low, that hurts. But the Revitalize is there to save their lives. And oh my, no one is dying. AC with a Slither of Health, but here comes Soul for the flank. That is Evo's SG picking off 2.
Evidently a mistake from Impunity KH.
Lord,
They fought
resurrecting
against
soon.
the Hylos. How many times should they fall into that kind of trap.
Yeah.
So many teams fall in that kind of trap. Well, the Hylos is in front. You thought I could kill him, but the Revitalist will be popped, and of course the Glorious Pathway in there. So much sustain from the Hylos. It's more than enough. And Harith overstayed his welcome against the Meteor Shower. You can never, ever underestimate the damage of the Meteor Shower.
The Meteor Shower and the crits from the soccer balls of the Bruno. Mr. Wolf, the Hylos right now, I think, is the most important pick for each team who wants to run the split push strat.
Yeah.
But again, like what you've said, the Hylos is just baiting out skills coming in from Impunity
Oh, in
KH.
comes the Meteor Shower, close range, Tham sustaining, will get the kill, but of course loses the 2 versus 1 fight.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, he still took one down with him, and he was SG. Might overthink that kind of strategy. Look at this.
Look at
Soul
this.
overstayed in there.
Oh, Soul overstaying is welcome. Here is the push coming in from Ebos SG. The firepower from the searing turrets of AC is the key ingredient for Ebos SG to actually give space for their carries right now. And man, the pokes is just surreal for Ebos SG.
Yeah, they did force out the usage of the Meteor Shower, but at
Yeah.
this point, with all of the items with cooldown reduction, this Chango can easily spam out his skills. Can you use that Meteor Shower almost every minute or every 30 seconds, I mean. And look at this, even committing the Meteor Shower to take out the jungle camp,
Yeah.
so that the buffs will not be available for Impunity KH anymore.
And I think Impunity KH, they need to not get baited by the Hylos, and of course they need to save their ultimates, because after the Zaman Force, what kind of initiation can you do? Again, you don't have any stuns from your team, so you cannot get the Bruno and Zhao PL.
Well, the idea there, however, is that you kind of shift your focus instead, right?
Yeah.
For Impunity KH, instead of trying to go and match the split push, what you need to do is to go for side lane
Pushes, yeah.
or like go for force out your 5v5 fights. For Evo's SG, since they have been taking care of the silence for far too long, they now have to focus on when to go for actually the finishing kills.
Yeah.
The finishing pushes. All I'm trying to say is both teams will have to look for what they really want to do. Do you want to split push? Do you want to 5v5? Do you want to straight up just siege your opponents? You have to decide right now, because you cannot, half-bake your decisions at this point.
But let's see if that can be done, as Odir Bambi having the Ring of the Rans in his items. Ladies and gentlemen, 17 minutes into the game. This is just game number 1. Evos SG still pressuring out the map. A minute and a half left for the next Lord, and I do feel that Evos SG has the setup right now for this Lord take. Man, Soul is just everywhere in the map, controlling the tempo of this game.
Yeah. It's about, actually, if you think about it, Evos SG are relying on Soul's decision making.
Soul decision making, yeah.
Because sometimes he actually forces out very good resources, I would say, from Impunity KH.
Yep.
I'm saying that Cotred Inferno, and the cooldown of Cotred Inferno is a resource.
From the Hylos, and he survives once again. Evos SG running out from the fight, man. Impunity KH. What is this?
This. They are buying so much time for this Masha to actually harass the turret up top. Did force out the Revitalize as well as the Glorious Pathway, but having control of the map is even better if you think about it. This time though, Impunity KH, how can they fight against Evos SG?
It's not about the team fight anymore for the Singaporeans, but meanwhile, Impunity KH, they probably need a pick off just to get their hopes up, because every time that they do go for fights, Evos SG will just run away. And look at this. Is this the fight that they've been looking for? Here comes the Salmon Force. He wants to go for Odir Bambi, but again, no casualties whatsoever. Boom. We'll just go for the blessing. And like what you've said, more space created by Evo's SG for Soul to keep going.
This is what they're doing, right? Evo's SG, they don't really want to go for the kills at this point. Yes, they do fight 4 versus 5, and they're happy to put the Hylos in front. Have Impunity KH commit all their skills, their Zaman Force, their Counter Inferno, is to take out Zhao PL. But every time they do it, they buy the time. They don't get the kills necessarily. They just go for turret pushes. And that is what Masha has been doing for far too long. Now, they want to go to take out the Lord this time, but they have to be careful. In fact, they have this scout. They have this Valier to scout out where their opponents are. And let's see who will take this Lord.
But look at the minimap. Here comes Masha with a push. Here comes another glorious pathway.
Valier.
The Valor with the searing turret plus the ball of flames. That is the killing spree from the Chango. And Impunity KH falling low as Team Evo's SG marching towards their base. That is the Lord, ladies and gentlemen, for them to have 20 minutes in this game, 7-13. Evo's SG with a 3-4 nothing lead in that clash.
Oh, Impunity KH just went a little bit impatient in there. Now they're losing their inhibitor in the mid and the bottom as well. Glorious Pathway. I think this should be the victory for Evo's SG. Can they get it? Yes, they will. Take game number 1. Evo's SG. It was close. They had to pull everything up their sleeves, but at least they did get the victory.
Discipline is the key to victory for Evo's SG. Keep yourself composed. And man, all of these glorious pathways from the high loss, I do feel that Impunity KH needs to get back to the drawing board. And I do feel that they need a hero to deal with the high loss sustain, or just ban out the high loss.
You know what? I did mention that their draft is good. Like the order of picks, it's good.
It's good.
Their final lineup, however, they have win conditions against Evo's SG, but Evo's SG has the far better, easier, I would say, far better and easier type of lineup to execute. All I'm trying to say is, if you look at their lineup with this Masha and this Hylos pick, it is telegraphed. They want to go for the sieges while the Masha is doing the split push.
Exactly. And that is the danger of the Masha pick. They know this. Impunity KH, they've read this. They know that they will pull off the Chango. They know that they will go for the split because of the Masha. They immediately banned the Claude. But again, not enough firepower for them. Plus AC just pushing them after the immediate burst.
Yeah, I really like, if you actually think about their lineup, it's really annoying to play against. Like, for example, you have the Hylos in front, you have the Chango in there, then you have the pushback, the knockback coming out from the Valier. We will see the highlights of game number 1, and you're going to see how well mastered the lineup, the execution is coming up from Evo's Esports SG. What am I trying to talk about? I was saying that whenever they go for the kills, it's okay if they only get 1 kill and just back out from that point. Like this, I think they will disengage right after. They know that they don't have the necessary skills anymore, and so they are disciplined enough to back out from the fight.
And looking at these highlights we are seeing, if you look at the minimap, there is Soul. Soul is just finding his soul in the top lane and just pushing out towers. Meanwhile, Team Impunity KH, they're looking for fights. They're forcing out fights. But man, they're failing because due to this high loss. And plus, of course, Team Evo's SG, like what you've said, they mastered this strategy. But again, in terms of push, in terms of tower kills, Impunity KH is very slow in taking towers as well.
Oh yeah. There will be a mistake here from Impunity KH. I think we're going to see it pretty soon. We're going to see them overcommit to a Hylos play. Down the bottom though, this is Soul finding kill on the Thams, but will not be able to do so. Valier with a very nice take of the Lord this time. Just really nice timing from the rest of Evo's SG. And this is the fight where instead of a 4v5 favoring Impunity KH is a 5v4 favoring Evo's SG, because that was the only time where the Masha actually was included in the fight.
Yeah.
And when that happened, the Masha already shoved the bottom lane so that the Thams will have to take care of it.
Yeah.
That meant that as a result, the Masha is there in the fight around the Lord and the Thams is not.
It's not. And the plan was the misconception and misdirection
Yeah.
for Evo's SG.
it's all about misdirection,
And it's
man.
all about the misdirection right there. What is the strategy for Impunity KH to pull off right now? I do feel that they need to ban the high loss or probably the Masha pick. They do have the Baksha, but I think
Yeah.
Baksha is like Kaja in a way. When you pull off a stun, you need immediate burst, you need immediate damage, and then
Afterwards, yeah.
afterwards you go for push.
Yeah.
But without that, man, clearly there's the pressure coming in from Evo's SG.
Yeah, I would honestly say that in other regions, this Basha pick actually counters the Masha and Chango pretty well. I've
Yeah.
seen it perform extremely good in the Philippines, for example, because, again, if you don't know, guys, we were from the Philippines. And what they do when the Chango and the Masha is available is to take the Basha, make sure when the Lolita is not available, you go for the Basha. It works, but only when you force the team fights.
Yeah.
What happened there was that Evo's Esports SG, they know that they cannot fight when the Basha is available, so that they only fight when the ultimates are already committed. They put the Hylos in front to burn out the resources from their opponents and then take the fight from there.
And after that, team Evo's SG, they're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know that, okay, the skills are on cooldown. Okay, let's go out. Let's just confuse them. And then Soul go for the push. The Tams will just go in the top lane, match up with Soul, and then they will not fight.
Counter.
A low-scoring game.
Yeah, you know what? In this game, it's not Soul searching, it's searching for Soul.
Searching for Soul.
Where is
Yeah.
Soul gonna come from? Is he gonna go from the top lane onto the bottom lane? They are overreacting to the movements of Soul.
yeah.
That in the end, Impunity KH, they actually trail behind in terms of manpower because Thams has been chasing where Soul is from time and time again.
And this is the reason why we do have a strong Masha high loss meta right
Yeah,
now.
definitely.
The sustained meta is now all over. The Estes and the Rafaela heals.
Yeah.
It's not working anymore because teams, they don't want this long drawn team fights.
Yeah, they don't want it. They,
They
want to
don't
go
want-
for the
they-
burst, right? Immediate burst.
They want to go for the immediate burst and they want to go for objectives right now. So I do feel that Impunity KH need to go back to the drawing board and so if they're gonna use the Masha, let's just not search for Soul.
Yeah.
Let's just let Soul be.
Oh,
And probably fight fire with fire. They do have they can pull up the Cho. Cho is a good split pusher. Tams can go for the split push as well.
Yeah.
But there is the threat of the meteor shower every time you push.
yeah.
So like
I guess the idea here is, if the right approach here is, yeah, it's true, let Soul do what he does, or let Soul react to what you're doing. So instead of you reacting to your split pushing Masha, you have to be the one who is proactive so that you can force Masha out of his comfort zone.
but they are actually doing it. In the bottom side of the lane, 4 heroes rotating just to get the Chango. But Chango, like we've said, that long range meteor shower, he doesn't even need to be in lane to get the gold and get all the experience that she needs.
Well, unfortunately, that was a very nice lineup coming up from Evo's Esports SG. You have to also take note that even when they have the Masha, they will have to take care of the Hyla. So in the end, I think for Impunity KH, they can only give away one. It's it going to be the Hamasha. It's it going to be the Hylos. Do not give them both of those heroes because, you know, Evo's Esports SG, they're going to jump and get those heroes as soon as they can. Now we hop into the draft for
Let's see.
game number 2, Evo's Esports SG versus Impunity KH.
What is the plan for Immunity KH? But of course, catch every battle, stream like Cray, get unlimited data for all apps with Giller Unlimited
Your team
GX30
is
only
banned.
with you mobile. Evo's SG immediately banning the Lolita. So again, the Chango is open for the taking. They do sometimes pull off the Granger Chango.
Your team is
Meanwhile, Team Impunity KH, they will ban out the X-Boy.
Well, you know, it's export. That's one of, I would say that he's the hero that will never see the light of day in M1.
Yeah.
At the very least, in terms of picks,
High rate.
I think as well as the Grok, although Grok has been picked already, it's not the top the top tier ban. It's one of the most picked and banned for sure. I'm 100% sure that Grok, as well as the Hylos, as well as the Xborg, will get 100% pick and ban rate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see what is the answer coming in from Team Evos SG. They are taking their time and banning out their second ban. 3 seconds left. What kind of strategy will they pull off? Okay, that
Your
is a
team
safe
is
ban
banning.
for the Cupra, deleting the early game crowd control and the catch that the Cupra has if they will pull off another high loss play.
There should be a Grok here for Impunity KH or a Masha or Hylos. Then again, I think that this is the favorable pick here for Impunity KH. Getting second pick instead of the first pick. Getting the red side instead of the blue side.
Yes.
Why do I say this? Because they can ban out either the Grok this time and then give away Harith, perhaps for Evos SG, or a Hylos, or a Masha. But the idea is Evos SG can only get one. And if ever that happens, Impunity
Your
KH,
team
they
is
can just
picking.
go for the 2 picks. Now, I think that they're baiting out Evos SG to get the Harith this time, and then they themselves will get the Hylos.
They will get the
Your
high loss
team
or
is
probably the
picking.
Masha, but that is the Grok opening for Evos SG. Quite safe. They have the jungle invade in their favor right now because of the shields of this Grok. What is the opening for Impunity KH? The Cho is open. The Harriet is open. But they will counter
Kaja.
the Grok
Your team
with
is
the carry
picking.
through damage and the Kaja pick off here.
You know, so here's the shift in the focus of Impunity KH. Instead of going for the cheeky Hylos type of compositions, knowing that that Evos SG already picked up the Grok, they will say, now we're gonna have the chance to get the Hylos third pick. Because we have to prioritize getting the carry and the Kaja this time because it is
Hylos.
the answer to the Grok. Nevertheless, they're also not scared of the Hylos because they still have the carry.
Yeah.
Then again, Evos Esports SG, they say, you cannot mess with 2 of the best tanks already in our season. I would say.
Movement speed and sustainability is the
team
power,
is picking.
is the answer of Evos SG to the true damage and the crowd control of this divine judgment coming in from the Kaja. And like what you've said, there is the Harriet pick. So we can immediately see for Evos SG what type of composition that they are having. That is actually a good answer, a good response for Impunity KH. Whenever there is the Zaman Force and the Glorious Pathway, that is an easy target practice for the Chang'o.
Chang'o is, I would say, the rookie of the year or rookie of the season.
The rookie hero of the season.
Rookie hero of the season. Or actually, no, the most improved player, I would say, of the season. You know, Chang'o.
The most improved hero
of the season. Well, you know, we're saying many things about the Chang'o. If you look back 2 months ago, you might say that Chang'o is a very hard hero to pull off. It's only a pop type of hero, but now we are seeing, because of the fact that teams have adjusted to it, Chang'o
Your team
is a very
is
good
banning.
hero in terms of taking objectives, taking the jungle camps, like invading against your opponents because of the meteor shower. Well, before I finish, the Chang'o is a very good objective taker, not because
Your team is
she can
picking.
hit towers hard, but because she can whittle down the HP of the opponents so that they can push.
Your
From
team is
afar.
From afar, indeed.
From afar, the longest range ever in all of the skills.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess in Mobile Legends.
Well, there's Moskov, but you know.
Yeah, there's Moscow, but man, you cannot actually spam out waves with that ultimate. Okay, there is the Akai ban for a Team Evos SG, which counters the Harriet with that Hurricane Dance. And again, another Claude ban for Impunity KH. That is Tams for Impunity KH. Added sustainability for their team and serves as a cover-up for this Chang'o ultimate. But this is very interesting. Something new from Evos SG. Batang as their side laner and Kimi as their main core hero.
This is very scary for Impunity KH. So that you have the Hylos and the Kimi combination, or or a Grok plus Kimi, whichever way EVOS SG wants to pair this up,
Wow.
because they can go for so much pressure on the lanes with this Kimi. Because Impunity KH, they have to react to this. This is no longer a mashup pick where they will split push. This is a Kimi
They will
lineup where they will siege
Yep.
so hard that you have to react to them. Badang is gonna be there for additional utility and additional damage courtesy of the ultimate. And of course the wall that he can bring with him, it actually combos well with the Hylos because of the Glorious Pathway, and then you also have the Grok with the Guardian's Barrier potentially.
Valor.
They will siege and they will fight. That is the gameplay for the side of EVOS SG. Meanwhile, they answer it out with a Valir pushback
Yeah.
to counter the siege, like that, like what you're saying, But man, Badang right now is not winning. As I've noticed
it's-
for the previous games,
It's not the
low win rate.
Yeah, very low win rate
Yeah.
for this day, I would say. But I can see how Badang can work in this lineup, right? Because the Badang can clear out the minion waves also very quickly. But unlike a Masha or unlike a Cho or maybe a Thams, he does not stay in lane. He wants
Yeah.
to clear the minion wave as soon as possible, then participate in the team fights. This time, there's a lot of impact, I would say, from the Badang just because of the wall in there that can combo with the Grok or the Hylos or the Kimi.
Or
Yeah.
the Kimi.
And then you have the damage as well from the ultimate.
Layering of skills for the side of EVOS SG. But as I say this, I do feel that Impunity KH, they responded to the draft of EVOS SG. So it looks like EVOS SG was in the driver's seat because of that Kimi and that Badang quick.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like, for example, the Grok has been picked
Has been
first.
picked, yes.
And then they kind of they were forced to actually pick the carry and the Kaja because,
As
again,
an answer to the Grok.
answer to the Grok. And they thought that the Hylos will no longer be picked by EVOS Esports SG, but EVOS SG says, we can double dip into this lineup. We can overcommit to the Siege lineup because we have very good control of the early game.
Yes, plus they have 4 tanky heroes right now. They have the Harit, the Badang is quite that tanky, the pseudo tank mechanic. So let's see if
5 seconds
EVOS
till the
SG
enemy
can
reaches the
pull
battlefield.
off
Smash
another
them.
split type
All troops
siege
deploy.
strategy. All troops deploy. Here we go into the Celestial Palace. Zens will be using the carry. Boom as the Kaja, Watt as the Kichango, Ateb as the Tams, and Paragon as the Valir.
EVOS Esports SG, you have Jao PL on this Grok, you have Odir Bambi on this Harit, it's gonna be Ace on the Hylos, it's Potato on the Kimi, and Soul with this Badang.
And I like this coming in from EVOS SG. Immediately going to the Shocker to get the blue buff. And they will give it to Odir Bambi. Same goes for Impunity KH. But that is the defense coming in from EVOS SG.
What a wall. What a wall from the Badang. They do have the damage. Shango is down for the count. Now Atev actually forced him here. The Kimi is here, as well as the Harith. But we were talking about the early game potential of EVOS Esports SG. Oh man, they are dominating Impunity KH right now. I don't understand why Impunity KH chose to actually contest this immense amount of damage from EVOS SG.
And Atev, he actually got the blue Shocker. But that was indeed a waste of time as he dies 2-0 for the side of EVOS SG, immediately controlling the first 2 minutes of this matchup.
And they're not done. They want to go for
They're not
Paragon.
done.
Paragon is down for the count. You have Tams to defend that. But this is a level 4 Odir Bambi Harit and then a level 3 Badang. You cannot defend on your own.
Under a minute and 30 seconds. Right now, EVOS SG, they can go for tower dives like this.
Sense.
That is the pressure and the tension
Turtle
for this
resurrected soon.
M1 contenders,
Wait.
EVOS SG.
We are talking about the potential of the Hylos plus
Kimi.
the Kimi pick. And we can dare say that this is proving to be a great control of the early game. Look at this, 6.4k gold already up for EVOS SG,
Yep.
and only 4.2k for Impunity KH.
Oh my.
This is not good at all from the Cambodians.
Oh my, yes, you are exactly right. As the first circle will go to the side of EVOS SG. And Team Impunity KH. Man, the carry right now, Zenz, will have a hard time in getting his first item. He will actually go for a mask play
Yeah.
because of the delay he has. Man, 1K on the pockets of this carry. Plus, this is the second rotation of the objectives, and this is another invade. Man, Evo's SG repelling Impunity KH from getting all of these buffs.
But they did punish the heart this time. The Glorious Pathway is going to be used. They take out the Kaja this time. Alternative Inferno completed by the task, but the Kimi is here. The Grok falls, but it doesn't matter. There's a 2-for-2 trade. Ultimate coming out from the Badang. Sense is going to be not
Kimi
going to having a
damage.
good problem this time. But of course, Soul overextending himself.
But the objective was to get the blue buff, and Watt neglecting that for the side of Evo's SG. So, what an outplay
What an
coming
outplay,
in from Team Impunity KH. That was actually a clutch block from the Grok, but it gave space to for Watt to hit all of the meteor showers.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of recovering from Impunity KH as they diminish the lead by just about 1,500, coming up from 2,000. Then again, Evo's SG, they cannot commit to go. They cannot be overly committing against their opponents, Impunity KH, because while it's true that they have the early game control, they cannot lose it. The moment that they give the control to Impunity KH, they will be forfeiting the mid game,
Yes.
which means that they will find it hard to close out the game. You have to take note, Impunity KH, they have amazing late game potential courtesy of their carry
And the Valier.
and the Valier, and actually the Chango is a very strong hero in the late game.
Of course, the Valier can transition onto on that carry time and time again. We've witnessed the taking time bomb of this gaming composition, but right now, Oh Dear Bambi with the circus tricks of dashes making off Mr. Paragon. So, space created once again for Team Evo's SG as they will now get the second circle of the game.
So, indeed, taken by Evo's SG, we know that they have the strength in terms of taking this turtle. I have to take note, by the way, that the Retribution is not available for any player the whole game that we have right now. So there is no Retribution play that we can get. That's why they are actually finding it hard to close out the kills on important buffs. But whoever controls the area around that buff or that objective actually wins the battle. It's gonna be Oh Dear Bambi to take it.
And man, third round of buffs
nice
taken by the side of Evo's SG. Nice wild charge right there from the Grok, and the pressure is now on as change of plans for Evo's SG. They will now go for the 5-on-5. That is the initiation from the Glorious Pathway. Plus 1,000 punches from the Badang, shutting down 2 heroes from Impunity KH and destroying the first tower of the game.
Talk about area control coming out from Evo's SG. They have the Glorious Pathway, they have the Salmon Force, and then they have the Badang. Whatever it is, whatever kind of terrain they want to play into, they are committing against Impunity KH, and they are winning against them because, again, they control the area, the small area, and nobody from Impunity KH can fight under that territorial control of Evo's SG.
Controlling that narrow space, and of course, this is the first Calamity Reaper from Oh Dear Bambi. So that is his power spike. Can now take 1 versus 2 fights. And meanwhile, Evo's SG, of course, with the Badang in their lineup, they can now go for the split push play.
With the help of the Grok, they are able to take out that turret on the bottom. It's just 6 minutes in. But already Evo's SG have amassed 21,000 gold in the bank.
Quite large.
Quite large at this point. And now, how can Impunity
Turtle
defend against this?
soon.
They have to go for the defense on the bottom lane. They have to take care of the top, and they also have to take care of the mid lane. There's just so much for them to do and take care of that Evo's SG are just way too good into abusing this kind of
And
advantage
they are punishing right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another Glorious Pathway from AC, and they will immediately back off as they will get another objective, and probably the third tower in the top lane. That is
My
the second
goodness.
tower in the mid lane, uncontested. The turtle is open, but Impunity KH, they are trapped within their base.
And it's just 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. We were talking about the advantage of EVOS SG in the early game, and they are not disappointing us this time. EVOS SG, they're also taking the buff. They've already taken the buff in the top lane. Now in the bottom lane as well. Wild Church to initiate with this ultimate from, of course, the Badang. No kill whatsoever, but they will tank the Meteor Shower.
Lots of ultimates missing right here. This is the opportunity for Impunity
what the
KH
block?
to get back, but nice block onto the carry. He does have the Phantom Step to get out, but 10-4 is the score. Another opening for EVOS SG.
We saw a little bit of nice combo in there from the Grok and the Hylos. When the Glorious Pathway is already laid down, you put the Guardian's Barrier on the end so that your opponents will not be able to escape. Unfortunately for EVOS SG, they did not take advantage of it just because they don't really want to be overly aggressive against their opponents.
Yes.
Which is the right decision at this point.
They're just making the right decisions, and of course, the discipline from EVOS SG. We've seen this in game number 1. They know their capabilities. They know when to fight, and they know when to take objectives. An open Lord, a free one for the taking for the Singaporean team, as Hylos will backs out all of their opponents. He will die, but that is an exchange for the Lord. 10-6, and they will just wait for this Lord buff to come in.
2 kills in exchange for the Lord. I think EVOS SG are happy to take that kind of trade. They still lead by 9,000 and almost 10,000 if they do force out their opponents into commit time. They go for a Courage Mask, complete it before actually completing your boots, and then go for no Athena Shield at all. And what you do is use the Guardian's Barrier to actually delay the Lord.
But right now they do have the lead, so I think he went for that classic build. Side of Impunity KH, they don't have enough damage to deal with the Grok right now. Grok is just too confident to man up all of these heroes from Impunity.
Judgment, but Harden's still alive. Ashen escapes. No, the Meteor Shower able to close him out. Now, where will EVOS SG fight once more? The top lane has already been destroyed. And onto the bottom, a little bit of pressure. There's a big cannon, a big minion down the bottom, courtesy of the blurred buff.
Yep.
EVOS SG, how will they utilize this?
This is the Kimi damage that they've been looking for. EVOS SG, man, half health here coming from the area. The Girls Pathway. Phantom stepping in for Mr. Zenz. 2 heroes falling down for the side of EVOS SG. They will now go for the disengage, and nice outplay and pick up for the side of Impunity KH. Ateb still wants more, still finding heroes, but they will just back away.
Very nice usage of the Meteor Shower to actually fend off the members of EVOS Esports SG. We talked about how important having the range against your opponents and the damage as well. With the Meteor Shower, you saw even the Lord melt against the Chango as well as the other members of EVOS Esports SG.
But again, that is just level 1 Lord, and this is the Kimi taking time bomb, as we said, from the side of EVOS SG. But again, discipline is the name of the game for this team. They don't want any clash. They're just hoping for now play. Impunity KH, like what you've said, carry can shut down everyone, even Zhao PL. Plus, there is the threat of the Divine Judgment onto the Meteor Shower. So I do feel that for the side of the carries of EVOS SG, Kimi and Carry needs to be very careful.
And you have to be also smart about how you approach this if you're EVOS SG, because your lineup, your strength has an expiration date.
Yes.
As longer the game goes, you want Impunity KH to be favored because of the fact that they have the carry and the Chango.
Yep.
But EVOS SG, they still have plenty of time to work with. It's still 12 minutes in, and they've already shoved the top lane, already took out the inhibitor in the top lane, and they still have control of the map at this point.
They need to build Athena Shield right now in order for them to soak up lots of damage from coming in from Watt and coming in from the Valier, because they're having a hard time due to the fact that Team Impunity KH has the spam mechanic. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, Team EVOS Esports SG forcing themselves into the mid lane. I do feel that they need to go back to the play that they have earlier at game number 1. Bait the Glorious Pathway and let Impunity KH go all out, use the divine judgment, and bait all of the skills that they have.
But what's happening right now is that EVOS SG, they're doing what they did in terms of taking the first Lord. This time though, the full cavalry from Impunity KH is here. They try to force this one out. Potato, as well as the Harith from Odir Bambi, they're taking care of business in this Lord take.
They're taking a long time.
Taking a long time indeed. They don't have retribution, by the way.
They don't have retribution. Here we go. Poor man.
Oh!
The 1,000 punches from the Badang taking down one. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes another Sandman Force, and that is a V
Oh my
from
goodness.
the map. And what nice block coming in from the Grok. The Grok block is just surreal right now for Team EVOS Esports SG.
And I think the Grok deserves that double kill after, of course, landing that good Guardian's barrier. But talk about EVOS SG just using the Badang and the Terran to actually take out the members of Impunity KH.
And we were wrong.
Shut down.
Team EVOS Esports SG taking game number 2 and winning the series. They will now have 3 points.
3 points in the bank for EVOS SG after falling in the first series. This time against Impunity KH. They are able to land the clean 2-0. Game number 2, we talked about the draft. We did mention that they have very strong control of the early game. And boy, did they not disappoint.
They did. Man, the first 2 minutes was indeed a clear win for EVOS Esports SG. Getting the blue buff.
Oh my goodness.
Forcing Team Impunity KH to contest with their blue themselves. But man, EVOS Esports SG knows this. And man, as we look at the post stats, EVOS SG with a redemption play coming in from the series number 1. AC was your MVP of that game.
Oh yeah, Odir Bambi is there. You can see the Harith with playing so well. They have ace on, of course, this Hylos. But overall, this is like a game of drafts where it's just that EVOS SG, very early game, cannot be contested by the lineup of their opponents.
Yeah.
There's just way too much control.
Way too much control.
You have the Hylos and the Grok. You have the Kimi. And even in the first minute where Impunity KH tried to go for the play, for the invade play, they failed horribly. And this is actually the replay that we're gonna see. Even with just the usage of their level 1 and level 2 skills,
Yep.
the first blood already went in favor. The 2 kills in fact. And you see EVOS SG
Yeah.
control the early game so well.
And they know the timings of the buff. As we can see, before even the buff spawns, they're immediately there. They're just setting up every objective that they need to get.
Yeah.
And man, Odir Bambi, this is a very scary Harith game
Yeah.
for him.
There's a lot of fight onto Impunity KH. We saw it happening. But the moment that the momentum actually pointed in favor of EVOS SG, they did not let go. This is
Yeah.
one of the cheeky plays where they can use like the Glorious Pathway with the Guardian's barrier in front, or instead of the wall as well from the Badang. We see how strong it could be. This is a very, very good fight. Look at this. They used the Terran and the ultimate, the clutch. A very nice ultimate.
Yeah.
Only needed one hero with the Demon Hunter sword on the Badang. It's more than enough damage. And the flicker into the wild charge play and the Guardian's barrier. The Grok is doing everything this game.
2 walls for the side of EVOS Esports SG to lock down Impunity KH and shut them down and getting this game. The Grok block and of course the Badang ultimate.
Oh man.
Man,
The double wall.
the double wall combination, yeah.
The Great Wall of SG.
The Great Wall of Singapore
The way-
is in town.
It definitely. You know what? If you think about the